Hi everybody, my name is Jodi and I have now been through 2 rounds of warm autoimmune hemolytic anemia since October of 2020. I was first diagnosed, actually interestingly enough, by labs that my cardiologist had put in for, and I was seeing a hematologist at the same time, and my cardiologist sent the labs over to the hematologist, who called me and said, "Uh-oh, we need to get some additional labs done." I'm like, ugh, what? I've already seen these doctors because things are going awry, right? They were trying to figure out if I had bone or blood cancer, some awful thing, bone marrow biopsies and all that good stuff. So I was already a little bit on edge, right? But they get more labs, and I get called into the doc, and he was like, "Well, the good news is it's not cancer. Yay!" The bad news is it's warm autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Like, what is that mouthful? Like, it's a lot to say. But I was very naive. I'd never heard of it before. I had no idea what was in store. And so I was just excited it wasn't cancer. So, like, I'm on Facebook that night. I'm like, "Yay, everybody, it's not cancer. It's just this thing called warm autoimmune hemolytic anemia." I can't even say it. Like, I was all excited because I'm like, this is so much easier than, the cancer. And, cancer's horrible. God. But I also didn't know what I was in for. No idea. And my insurance would not approve the rituximab, so they start me out on 100 milligrams of prednisone. Well, I can tell you this, my body does not like prednisone, and it sure doesn't like it at 100 milligrams a day. And within the first, 2-3 months, whatever, of taking it, I was in the ER 4 or 5 times. It was a lot. My body doesn't respond well. I like list the side effect, and that's me on prednisone. And so by the last time I went to the ER, the doc was like, "Look, the treatment's going to kill you before the hemolytic anemia does. We got to get you off this prednisone." So my hematologist went back to my insurance company, got the rituximab approved, thank you, Lord. And so we realized we have to taper off the prednisone, which took like 6 months to taper off of. It took forever. And so we get tapered off of that, or we start to taper off that, and go to get the rituximab. And again, naive, don't know anything about infusions. I just figured they're going to get a vein and stick some stuff in me and I'll go home and it's fine. And it happened to be the very first day, because, this is all in the middle of COVID, where they were allowing family members to join people in the infusion chemotherapy area. So my husband's with me, and I'm thinking it's just literally going to be like the easiest day. We're just going to be bored, right? I'm like, oh, we're going to be so bored. We were not. I'm one of those lucky people whose body does not respond well to rituximab. And if it could go wrong, it did go wrong. I mean, I lost pretty much control of everything. I couldn't temperature regulate. My heart rate was either bradycardic or tachycardic. My blood pressure is all over the place. I couldn't speak, so that was fun. Yeah, it was gross. So we had to stop the infusion halfway through because my body just wasn't taking it. And my poor husband, the things that he can never unsee in his head. Oh God, like I wish I could undo him being there that day. People who love you suffer right along with you, let me tell you. So go back in for a repeat a few days later, and thank God they put me like in my own little room, and they gave me tons of pre-meds. So for those of you who have to get rituximab, if they offer you a pre-med, like they're going to stick something like Ativan or Benadryl or any of the other wide variety of things they want to stick in your IV, let them. Yes, give me all the drugs. I don't like taking meds, but I will take whatever they're willing to give me before a rituximab treatment. So, and we also realized that like I can only do, and I don't know what 180 stands for, but we can only get up to 180. And if we get over 180 with like the speed of the drip, my body freaks out. So what should be just like a few hours is like, it in total, like it's like a 10-hour day at the hospital because the drip has to be so slow. But these are the things you learn, and you have to advocate for yourself, right? Because like every time I went back for a treatment, I'm like, okay, am I getting this, all these drugs in my IV? Are we only going to get it up to 180? Like, let's not go for 200. Like, why do we even need to go? It's an extra hour in the bed. Like, let's do the extra hour in the bed. We don't want a repeat of what we had before. So you have to advocate for yourself and have hopefully people around you that advocate for you. But anyway, so I get through my first round of warm autoimmune hemolytic anemia, and go about my business, go back to work, doing my thing, and labs all the time, right? We all get used to being stuck. We all look like bloodbath on our arm and a bunch of holes in us. But you get the labs done, you get the labs done, you get the labs done, and you're like, well, maybe instead of every week, every other week, once a month, once every 3 months. And then you have another round and you go out of remission and you're back to having warm autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Really? It comes back? Great. And so that was, I think, February of 2023, round 2. Thank goodness my insurance company realized that 1 billion trips to the ER is more expensive than rituximab, so let's just give her the rituximab out of the gate. So the blessing is that we know how to treat me. Even though the rituximab makes me sick, and I know a lot of people don't get sick from rituximab, I do. I can't sleep more than like an hour, 45 minutes, an hour at a time. I can't work. My stomach is a nightmare. So the rituximab, even though we've figured out all the pre-meds, all the drip level, like we figured out all of that, it still wreaks havoc on my body. So, but that's okay because we figured out how to at least put me in remission. So whatever doesn't kill me, right? that's the key at this point. But it's, and as blessed as I am to have the most amazing and wonderful health people taking care of me, my doctors, my nurses, all of the support staff, everybody is just absolutely amazing. I'm so lucky. I am also incredibly and truly blessed to have a wonderful support system. My husband is a saint. He should have a halo just floating over his head. Just never a complaint, not a single complaint, not a single complaint, not once, not a rolled eye, not a sigh, not a nothing. I mean, he has truly seen some egregious stuff and he never complains. It's shocking to me. He's always sweet. He makes sure I have food and water, and he does all the cooking and he does all the cleaning, and he makes sure that I am doing great. And my sister and my mother, everyone else lives out of state. It's just my husband and I here in state. But their long distance support, absolutely amazing. My sister at one point came out to take care of me and make sure I was okay. My familial support has been just absolutely incredible. And I think one of the most important things that we as people who have this hemolytic anemia need to remember is that it sometimes feels like you're suffering alone, right? Because you're the one who's getting stuck with all the needles and the pain and the terror. Because you're like, am I going to die? Is my life going to change forever? Is it always going to suck? like all the things that you think, right? But we're not in it alone. Anybody who loves you is right there going through it with you. My husband was a caretaker. I didn't drive for a year and a half. I was so sick. I could not drive. I love to drive. Couldn't drive myself anywhere. So they're in it with us. And I always try and keep that at the front of my mind. One of the biggest lessons that I have learned from this is, first off, I am strong. I am strong. I am resilient. I am tough. If it doesn't kill me, I will survive it, right? But I've also learned that the fear that we have is the same fear that our caretakers and people who love us have, right? I'm sure my husband, my mom, my sister were terrified that I was going to die. And knowing that they carry that same fear, they may not get the needle sticks we do, right? They may not feel physically the way that we do, but emotionally and in their hearts, what they're going through is just traumatic. And so one of the things that I learned is that I need to be very cognizant of everybody else's feelings when I am going through my own, right? Because I'm miserable, but so are they, right? So I'm so glad that I learned that. That was such an important thing, because just remembering that, when I'm tired or I'm in pain or whatever it might be, to never take it out on the people who are caring for you and who love you, because they're suffering just hand in hand with you. And this is not me patting myself on the back at all. But I do think that being cognizant of the wear and tear that we're putting on caretakers, if you have to, you might not have to. Rituximab might be the easiest thing in the world to you. You don't need help from anybody. I did, and a lot. So I learned that I need to be just as loving and tender and kind and sweet and all those good things that I needed myself from the people who love me. I needed to be that for them too. Even though, yeah, I'm the one getting the needle sticks, they're going through it just like I am, just in a different way. And in some ways, like possibly even more frustrating because they're helpless. They can't do anything. They can't fix you. They can help you, but they can't fix you. And that's all they want to do is fix you. And that frustration just, like that has to just be horrible. So I always try to remember that too, because those people that love us are just suffering so much along with us because they're worrying about the same thing. Like, is she going to die? Is her life going to be forever different? Is it going to be forever just garbage? Like all the things that you worry about, right? So, but I'm very blessed. I have amazing healthcare. I have amazing family. My husband's wonderful. But warm autoimmune hemolytic anemia is life-changing and not in a great way. One of the things that I fear the most is for my job. And I have a wonderful job. I love my job. I've been at my job for coming up 14 years this year. And I love it, and it's my passion. But at the same time, like, I'm the sick girl, right? Like, I'm the one that has to take short-term disability because I'm sick, because they're doing awful things to me. And I always worry, like, you know, God forbid, let's say there's layoffs. Are they going to be like, got to get rid of her because she's the sick one, right? She's the one who goes out on short-term disability. And if I lose my job, I lose my health insurance. And if I lose my health insurance, I lose my life, right? And I know that sounds so dramatic, but my doctor told me that because I did come out of remission and had a recurrence, that I would probably have recurrences every 18 to 24 months for the rest of my life. Wow, that's great to hear. I'm at the 22-month mark right now. Yeah, I'm nervous to say the least, because I really don't want this again. My doctor said to me, I just saw her the other week, and she was like, well, your next set of labs should be the really interesting ones. Yeah, I know. Trust me, the calendar is clicking in my head. I get it. We're almost at 24 months. But it is life-altering, and you're scared, you're angry, you're sad, you're frustrated, you're tired. You're so tired. You're just so tired. You feel like you have no control over anything anymore. You have no body autonomy. People are just poking you and sticking you and doing all kinds of things to you. And just trying to have that resilience, trying to stay strong in the face of abject terror and a lot of pain. All of those things are so critical to getting through this, right? Because I'm hoping, as rare a disease as this is, that at some point there will be enough research dollars put into this that they will find better ways to treat us. And I know that a lot of people out there also have like things, like other things that are going on just like me, that don't make it any easier to have this. And we're struggling with lots of different treatments and medications and this and that. And my goodness, the struggle is real. So I just pray that hopefully we can get funding, more research, better drugs, all the things that heal us and keep us from coming out of remission. And I just hope and pray for all of you, health, physical health, mental health, emotional health, as you're going through this. And if you're a caretaker, God bless you. We need you, and we love you, and we appreciate you, whether it's said or not, and hopefully it's said. But if it's not, trust me. And for those of you who are watching this, I'm sorry I rambled so long. I should really learn to shut up faster. And I know you're agreeing with me right now. That's totally okay. But I just wanted to tell you kind of my story and just hope and pray that we all come out of this healthy and strong, and that it just gets better for us, because it's rough. It would be nice for it to get a little bit better. So God bless everybody. Take care, and thanks for taking the time.